K-12 classroom and methodology. It aims to create a professional platform to connect K-12 Chinese teachers, from which they could update and refresh their Chinese classroom teaching skills and enrich their Chinese pedagogy and methodology. And by the way, my name is Xiaoqing Liu. From Butler University, Indianapolis, Indiana. Thank you.
Thanks for Professor Liu to join us today.
My pleasure. Okay. And also, I'm honored to introduce you today's speaker, Mrs. Ilya Evans, and her topic will be movement in the classroom.
Oops, sorry. Okay. Yeah, okay. And next week at the same time, October 1st, Saturday, October 1st, Dr. Sergio Perez will present Show What You Know events, plural literacies through drama. So he's a professor for Spanish, and he's our officer of Embassy of Spain Education Office in Nebraska. And also, Professor Liu, could you please continue?
Yes. And this on October the 12th, and it's in the afternoon, okay, 3:45 to 5:15. Remember, it's a Central Time. And Mrs. Heather Swisser will present. Okay, so, oh, Dr. Liu, you go a little faster.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry. Oops, I don't know, my mouse doesn't work. So sorry. Okay. Okay, it just stopped. I don't know. My mouse doesn't work. So let's come back. Okay. And okay, sorry about that.
Okay, yeah, good. So Mrs. Heather Swisser's topic will be content-based learning in language classrooms. That will be October the 12th.
It's going to be Wednesday afternoon. So that's the best time work for her. And on October 15th, Saturday from 10 to 11:15, our Nebraska Teacher of the Year, Lee Press, is going to present culturally responsive strategies to use with English language learners. He is actually an ELL teacher, so he is our expert on how to do culturally responsive strategies, and that's why we invited him.
Okay, if you are interested in joining the guest speakers to share your experience with world language teachers in and outside of Nebraska, please respond to the form, and we are looking forward to working with you. So you can scan this QR code.
Or you can just email me.
Yeah, that's also efficient.
Yeah.
And for those who missed some recordings, and you can go to this, use this link, or also scan this QR code to get recordings in this web page, which will include all the previous recordings and future recordings. So all the resources will be here.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so here's our guest speaker today, Ilya Evans. She graduated in Rostov-on-Don State Teaching Training University. Did I say it right, Ilya?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I don't know the pronunciation. I'm trying. Okay, with a degree of bachelor's degree of education and a master of arts. Currently, she teaches German language at Lincoln East High School, and she is my son Daniel's favorite language teacher. She's we actually got to know each other long time ago, and when I was supervising student teacher and she was their cooperating teacher, and she is awesome always. I'm very glad and I'm very happy and also honored to invite her to be our guest speaker. So also Yulia likes to Miss Evans, I'm sorry, she is passionate about teaching and likes to collaborate and exchange ideas. So if you want to make friends and learn more from her, and I think she is very happy to do so, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And Miss Evans also presented at Nebraska International Language Association annual conference. And also she presented at Central Conference before several times. So Miss Evans, now it's all yours.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you very much. And everyone, thank you for being here today. I am Ilya Evans and I am German teacher and I teach German in Lincoln, yeah. I hope you can see my screen here. Just a second. Okay, cool. Okay, so can you see the screen? Can you hear me well? Yes, okay, good. I will continue then. So my name is Ilya Evans. I teach German and I have been teaching for almost 15 years here in Lincoln. And you, as you know already, I graduated from Rostov Teachers Training University with my degrees in German. And I actually found some pictures and I would like to talk more about myself. A little bit. So first of all, here's my email, my personal email, evans.yulia@gmail.com. Yeah, and here is on the bottom, you can see the picture of me. I put it in the circle. The students usually like to look at the pictures when when I was little, yeah. I like to be active. I like to ride bikes. And when I can, I like to commute by bike to school. I also started doing ice skating with my daughter. You can see on the picture a couple of years ago, and I really enjoy it. And here's my family. Yeah, my husband, Corey, Sasha, my daughter, and two pets, cat and a dog. All my ideas I get while walking my dog, or doing some activities. Yeah, and today the presentation is about movement in the classroom. I'm a big fan of movement activities because they have a lot of advantages to use in the classroom. So, and here's information about me. Okay, and yeah, thanks again for being here today. I know it's Saturday, thank you for finding time. First, I would like to start with the question: if you use movement activities in your classroom, if it's often, can you please put a heart if you can, or if you would like to use more, can you put another sign? So I just want to see if you could answer, or maybe. So you want them to answer in the chat box? In the chat box, or you can choose a reaction over the picture. Oh, yes. Thank you, Crystal. Oh, okay, thank you. Raise hand. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for being so active. Okay, excellent. So
I think World Language Classroom is one of the best. I will look at the chart. Is one of the best places to be active and to use movement activities. So our objectives for today, what was my intent to provide 10 activities, to give ideas for you to expand, to see the advantages of movement activities in the classroom, and to see how you can adjust activities or expand them based on the needs of your students to use them in the classroom. Okay, let's start. I hope you have tea and a piece of paper so you can write down while I'm explaining, and please write questions in the chat or unmute yourself and ask questions right away, or if you would like to wait until the end of presentation, works as well. Okay, why movement activities? When I was looking for some information, I found this article from Adweek, and they talked about that movement increases blood and oxygen flow, that positive influence, cognitive development, physical health, and mental well-being of everyone, yeah, who does movement. It's also quick 15 minutes break. This is more for teachers. 15 minutes break helps adults tackle the rest of the day, and then the students will be more engaged. Yeah, movement activities also help the students to create social skills because they work in groups. With social skills, we bring empathy skills, we bring self-esteem and leadership skills as well. I would like to add that it also provides a meaningful feedback to the groups or to the students while doing movement activities. Movement activities help teachers to connect with the students they would like to get more connection better while doing activity. Movement activities also provide me with the great feedback to see what can I change for the next time when I plan, how can I improve my teaching, and what can I review if I need to review, or what else can we learn. And also provide some support for the students on the individual basis. And build relationship, of course. Some of the activities that I will introduce can be used as activities by themselves, and some of them is more as transition activities between your main activities that you do in the classroom. Okay, let's start. Activity number 1, it's called left, right, or if you would like to practice language, you can always say north and south, west and east. The students get up, and it's usually a great activity to review rules or at the beginning of the school year. And you ask questions. These questions are for teachers, right? So the students get up, and I ask a question about who is ready for the weekend. The students go to one side, yes, and the other side, no. Or who has a pet at home? Yes and no. Who likes to do something? And 2 choices, for one choice and for the second choice. The next step for this activity, you can expand. When the students are split equally in 2 groups, you can assign them from one side and from the other side. They can connect and continue the conversation, sharing ideas, coming up with the sentences, review some grammar rules. Or you can ask them to work as 2 big groups and come up with some vocabulary, for example, for a certain topic on the paper to make 2 posters. This would be great activity, for example, to do you like winter or summer better? And what activities you can do. So that when the students split into groups, they receive a big poster and they write activities, they describe the weather, they like their favorite places to go or what they can do. And then it can be used as a foundation for the next activity. The second activity, the questions on the wall. This activity requires a little bit prep time from the teacher, and it can be used with the questions or with the answers. For example, in my level 1, we will talk about school schedule. I will prepare the questions like, when do you have German? What time did you get up? What's your favorite class? Do you have a book in your backpack? The students get up and they walk in the classroom and they answer the questions. Then I bring them all together as a group and I will choose the students or they volunteer to answer the questions as a review. However, this activity can be twisted a little bit and the students can have questions and the answer can be placed on the wall. The best place I found to do this activity is in the hallway. So there is more space. And if you know that the student is struggling with responses, you can always come during this moment activity and connect to the students, help them on individual basis and boost them with extra support. So I think it's great for the relationship base. Then you can bring them, step number 2, you can bring them together and they can compare answers before you receive the feedback from the students working as a group. You can do review concepts. They can go and correct mistakes if there are some posters. They can do a classroom survey. I like to do it for my activity when we talk about free time. I place pictures or sentences or just write on the board who likes snowboard, who likes going with the dog, who likes listen to the music, and the students just mark the answers yes or no, and then we review the answers. So many people like to do it and so many people do not like to do it. This is a great activity to bring the concept from earlier numbers concepts. And this way you will also get a better feel of your classroom. And based on the information, what students, the majority of students like to do, or maybe some students bring some type of sport, some type of activity that is not typical activity, you can build more on the interest of the class for the next lessons. Activity number 3, I came up with actually this week. I woke up and I really wanted to do past tense review, but as a board game, it takes time to do it. So while driving to school, I was thinking, how about we just do like one board activity and we will play it together? So I asked students to work in groups and we reviewed some past tense grammar. And while they were reviewing, I drew very fast squares on the board. Then I brought the students all together in group and asked them to say the verbs present tense and past tense. So I wrote all the verbs in present tense. The goal is to say what they have already done, so to use more past tense. Our topic is about holidays, how we celebrate holidays, celebrate birthday, or anything related to holidays. We go, we buy, I bought a present, etc. So then the students were working in groups. Every group got a little die and they rolled the die. But instead of using it on the board, they had to come to the board and write down their initials on the places where they stopped. So you see little letters, and this way, when I brought them all together, I kind of see, okay, this verb they review, but this no one looked like it stopped at the verb denken to think about the present, yeah? So this way, I asked the students to tell me more sentences. I felt like it was a great activity for students because they were moving, they were talking. I was able to monitor them in the classroom to listen what they are saying. I think it worked well. I will use it again for sure. It also zero prep activity. Activity number 3, I put another one as plates. Yeah, if you need a little transition and you see that students are tired, to decide who is going first, you can use rock, paper, scissors, and they can stand up. You can use a rock, paper, scissors in 2 groups. Instead of doing 2 students, you can bring small groups of students and decide who is going first. So it can be used as a transition activities. And plays is a little silly activity if you feel this is your style. So I got paper plates and I put a sticky note with the verb on the paper plates. The student put the plate on the head and they had to walk in the classroom from one wall to another without losing the plate from the head. Then they had to write a sentence or they had to talk about the sentence. It brings a lot of laugh. It brings some humor. It's just brings good and positive environment and creates a good and positive environment in the classroom. So if you feel like your students are sleeping, then some movement activities are always good as a transition activities. The next activity is describing the pictures, and this is actually works very well with the students who are just started learning the language and who already know a lot of language. So the main idea, I put a slide. I use a board with the projector and I put a picture related to our topic. Here probably we will learn about nature. The students are in 2 groups, in 2 rows, in 2 groups, and every student gets a number. So I have number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. I say number, and the student who has the number should go to the board and to write the new word, what they see on the picture. I put some here. Sky. Someone will write sky. Someone will write bridge. Someone will write the tree. Someone will write other words. What it does, this activity, it helps the students to look when they look at the other team's vocabulary. They will copy vocabulary most likely on their own side to get more words, and it gives extra writing practice without even thinking that we are writing. The next step, after they see the picture and have a list of vocabulary, the word bank, they can create some sentences again if they work in this with the same group, or they can pair 1 and 1, 2 and 2, 3 and 3 from different groups to come up with the sentences. Then I bring them all together in the circle and we talk about sentences. Depending on the time, I might ask for 2 sentences. So I will ask everyone a sentence, or I will just ask 1 sentence per group. But in my classroom, I like when the students talk to me at least 1 or 2 times during the class. I would like to reach every student. I like to reach every student in my classroom at least several times to talk to me. Okay, flowers. Okay. Activity number 5, it's a jigsaw activity. I learned from my student teachers actually, and this works better if you use the target language. It works better with the upper levels. However, this is one of the activities I'm going to use during our National German Week when we will talk about history history, famous people, cultural information. So here, the main idea that the students are in groups. They are called home groups. Every student is assigned a number. So 4 people, for example, in the group. And then all people, they go to expert groups. All people with group number 1, who has number 1, go to group number 1, go to group number 2, go to group 3 and 4. The advantage of this activity is their responsibility. This activity teaches students to be responsible for their own learning and be able to deliver the information they share. I would say 99, almost 100% of the time, this activity is very successful if the teacher walks and monitors the students, because the students will come back to their home group with some information for sure. Then in home group, so step number 1, home group, step number 2, expert group, step number 3, learning about certain thing in expert group, at step number 4, come back, share the information, but the key point here, to share the information on the paper. Then this way we will have several posters about the same topic, and we can make a gallery walk as well. Or we can use it as a poster to promote our program, or we can create questions and use it next day to review the information or do some type of opener or closure activity. Kaboom. Kaboom is another activity that I learned from our Spanish teachers. I have a little plastic jar where I place the questions. 2 cards, I write the word kaboom. The students are in the circle, and I close my eyes, I turn around, and I clap my hands, and we start an activity. The students forward, the students hold and then give it to someone else in the circle, my plastic jar. And then after I say stop, the person has to open the jar, pick a question, answer the question, or read the information. If the student gets kaboom, the students can choose another student to answer the question. That makes a lot of, that also creates a great atmosphere of being competitive, competition, a little competition with the students, because if they don't want to answer the question, they have to pass the jar very, very quickly. For this activity, you can also do practice the vocabulary, just reading, pronouncing some words. You can answer, you can talk about students' interests, you can review text if you read a certain text. You can also introduce vocabulary this way, where the students speak the vocabulary, read it, and then ask the student to write the word on the board that you can come up later and practice pronunciation or create sentences or endings, anything you would like.
We have a question. What does kaboom mean?
I do not know. I think kaboom is something that I don't know, something, I don't know. Boom, boom, I think it comes from boom, wow, boom. Okay, to choose students, yeah, in groups. Sometimes I ask my students to find the partner. Sometimes it's hard for some students because they do not have friends in the class, or they don't feel like working in the group. But if you use yarn, it works pretty well. So this requires also a little prep time, and you just need to find long pieces of yarn and cut them. I would say maybe 4 feet. You hold them together, and the students has to take side of the yarn, and then you spread them. I will probably should draw it. You spread them, and the students will know whose group is this. So if I will draw it, okay? So the yarn, and I hold this piece, and the students holding here, and no one knows what they get. So then they pull the string, and they will know who the partner are because I will let it go. And this is great as a transition activity because it assigns student partners. I just did this activity on Friday, and it seems like the student really liked it. So we did the group work. We worked on exercise together. I took the students to the hallway. My classroom is next to cafeteria, so I'm able to use bigger area to take students of the classroom and then bring them back and continue doing what we were doing. Okay. Just a second. Activity number 8 is, okay. Activity number 8 is a work with the cards, so it's required a little bit prep time. So the student received a card with the word or with the verb in this case. Then I ask the students to write down the sentence with this verb. And I have an example on the next slide. Then they walk in the classroom, they find a partner, and they read the sentence and they exchange the card. So if I had a card, here's 2 cards, to watch TV. For example, we are practicing free time activities to watch TV. I watch TV only on the weekend. Okay, this is my sentence. Someone else had a sentence to meet friends. I like to meet with my friends for a coffee. I exchange the sentence and I go to find another partner. I read the verb, I translate it, or what's the activity, what's the exercise, and then I read the sentence, or I come up with my sentence, I exchange cards again. This way, if you ask the students to exchange 5, 7 cards, they will read, they will practice reading sentences, as well as practicing vocabulary. Activity number 9 can be used as transition activity or as activity by itself. Also requires a little bit time. You need to create cards, they match each other. It can be beginning and the end of the sentence. It can be the same words of the sentence. It can be descriptive words. The students get a card, and my goal is to create a sentence, to explain the word, or just to talk to the students. Works well at the beginning of the school year. Talk to the student to find someone who has the same card. This will be my partner then for the next activity. You can do picture and the word. It's like a memory game, picture on one card and the word on the other card, and then the students create sentences with this group. The main idea of all these movement activities to bring students together and receive feedback, to talk about sentences. They have to produce some work for you to see. And this one is also one of my favorite activities, and it's speak and guess. This probably will be about 10-15 minutes activity. So the students get a card. For example, we talked about house, house. I get a card house. Then I would need to explain it. I cannot say I have a card with house. So I will say place where I live, or it is a building, it's small, it has window. I find a partner and I explain the word. The partner should guess the word. After the partner guesses the word, we exchange the card. I guess my partner's word, we exchange the card, and we go to the next partner. Yeah, then I bring all students together in the circle, and step number 2, they have to act out. They cannot say the word they have to act out the words that we were just talking about. You can turn it into Pictionary. You can ask them to do charades. You can ask them to do some noises if they feel comfortable. So, and then the group guesses the word. The good activity you can also do is to create a story with these new words that you just practice. So more students exchange cards, most likely it will go faster because they will know the vocabulary they had. Okay, and I appreciate that. I think chat has 12, by me, chat has 12. Okay, okay, let's answer questions. Yes, do they keep sentences for other students? Yes, they can. It's up to you how you would like to do it. The sentences, yes, I would probably ask to create, if you get a new card, create your own sentence. That would be better practice. Yeah. Kaboom. Yeah. Kaboom, boom. Yeah. Probably would be better to replace. If it's boom, you talk about boom. I don't know. Maybe we can come up with an idea to replace kaboom. Pass it on, or you could probably just write down, choose a partner, or I choose a partner, or maybe some jokes that you use in your classroom, or just draw a, I don't know, draw a watermelon. So if you get this sign that you could, yeah, I actually like it better than I didn't think about. Thank you. Sun loud now. It's okay. Okay, sun and loud sound. Okay.
Yeah, I think we can unmute ourselves.
Yes. Activity 5 again. Okay, just a second. Let me go. Okay. Oh, expert groups. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I appreciate the questions. Yeah. So I will draw again. So there is a class. Yeah, let's say that there is a class of 20 people. Yeah, I put all people in the groups. So I have groups 1 and 2. So this is my group number 1. This is my group number 2. And this is my group number 3. Yeah, and you can decide. Usually when I do groups, I say do your number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. Okay, so every student get a number. Okay, you're number 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, and the same with the third one. So then for number 1, they could create their expert group. So they go on one side. Number 2, all number 2s goes to the other side. All number 3 goes to the third side. All number 4 goes to the fourth side. And they work on one topic. This is step number 2. Then they come together. So every student will have a different piece of information about certain topic. And then they work together, they answer the questions, they talk about it. This activity takes a little bit preparation time. But for example, I can, if we talk about recycling, yeah, for example. So one student, one group works on recycling in Germany. For me, one works on recycling in Switzerland, it's German-speaking countries, and one group works with recycling in Austria. And then they come together and they think about similarities and differences. So it will be one way. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, I actually dropped our
Oh,
link.
perfect.
And if
Mhm.
you, Miss Evans, can you open the link? There is a very clear picture on that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just a second. Let me clear my awesome drawings. Okay. Oh, Jigsaw. Okay. And which website did you use?
This is I just found
Oh,
like a
perfect.
minute ago. There's a picture.
Okay, so yeah, home groups have different numbers and then expert groups with the same number. Actually, I like this idea by colors and puzzles. Perfect. Okay, let me look at more questions if there are more questions. And or if you would like to just unmute yourself and ask questions would work as well. I don't see that chat has any questions.
Okay, I can ask a question.
Mhm.
How about, I think their levels can be different, right? So how about, if you have a one group can be all excellent students and the other group can be, I mean,
Not as strong, yeah.
right. So, their information probably not very much, or they do not make good sentences. And this group all make
Awesome
all
sentences.
very, elaborate sentences, great sentences. So how do you deal with this situation?
It takes a lot of practice. Sometimes if I would like to pair certain students in the group, I just put the names on the slides who I would like to work with. For this particular activities, I would like to have groups that have strong students and not as strong students. Probably would be better so they can help each other. Yeah, in home groups, when they go to expert. And it's okay because the end product will be some type of poster, some type of writing, so they can work on it together. And if you do posters and we will place 4 posters together and ask this one question, I'm sure that one of the posters will have the question. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I would do a little bit work on my side, who I want to group with. It will not be spontaneous. Any more questions?
I have a suggestion. Maybe we don't remember which number it is. Could you go back to your slide and then maybe starting from activity 1 and to see whether teachers have questions.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Okay, left, right. I think it can be used by any language at the beginning of the school year. Yeah. Any questions about this activity?
I do not have a question, but I really like it.
Okay.
Because you can use it in any situation when students, you ask a few questions, and students have different answers, and then they just naturally split and become groups, and then you can group them for some other activities. And then you ask another question, and then you can regroup them based on what's their responses.
Right. But here I would also say that if you do this activity, you have to put some questions some funny questions, I call them, not just content related, because some students will just do what their friends are doing and they will walk to the same side. But if you say, do you prefer gummy bears or Skittles? Then they will not go with their friends. Then they will split in different groups if you want to pair them differently. So I think the mix of question will be good. Or text messages. They like, hey, how many text messages did you send yesterday? This number or this number? And then you will most likely to receive the honest answer from the students. Yeah. And then you go next to your contact questions again.
Yeah, that's really great because I like the way you make those questions relevant to their life and make them interested. sometimes we try to, okay, we need to focus on the content, and we use all the questions from content, and students are not interested and they might not be as active as they should be. Yeah, I really like it. And I remember when I was in learning English in China, it's like one of my language teacher was so serious, and so she was very serious. She was talking about learning English and everything, grammar and everything all the time. And once we saw her on the street, eating an ice cream, we are shocked. Is she real? It's like, I like the way you make it relevant to students. And also, such questions also helps students to know, okay, our teacher is a human being as well. It's not somebody who is super far away from us, right?
Yes, yes.
Now I start to understand why my son loves you, loves your class. Thank you.
On the wall, questions on the wall work very well with any students, with any level. I mean, any questions about that? I really like to do survey of the students, what they are interested, because every time we will always connect, we can always connect for any topic with the students' interests, just a little bit, and bring it together, bring it into the classroom, and then it will change the environment. Yeah, so this board game, it did work in two of my classes. It did work pretty well. And again, the students write, the students read, the students walk, they are being active. I hear what they are saying. I think it works pretty well. So plates and rock, paper, scissors, I guess it depends more on the style of teaching, and overall on your personality. Yeah, so I like to smile, I like to have humor, I like to laugh in the classroom. That's why we do some funny, silly activities. Describing the pic. Yeah.
Any questions? Yeah, I think we can move on if teachers
so, describing the picture, I think it does work well with the older or younger students. Certain topics will work better than the other topics. So for example, this time we have in the book, we have a big picture with some vocabulary on the picture. And I have online edition of the book, and I just put it on the projector, and the students know the image, the students know the picture, the students know what words I'm looking for. So this predictability part is great.
For this, actually, I would like to share something I learned from some world language teacher at ESU 6 in Nebraska. I was teaching a professional development workshop on Thursday, and some of their thinking about creating a picture, maybe students for their, advanced learners, not beginners. Maybe they can read a story and draw a picture, and then the teacher asked them to focus on something like dramatic, or there's a problem, something like that, some conflicts, and draw a picture of that and put themselves in the picture.
Interesting.
And then have a discussion why they want to put themselves there, and what size, because there are different parties, different people in there, and how do they want to get involved to solve the problem, to solve the conflicts, or to help, or to do what? It's also a picture activity. I think it's kind of fun for, level 3, level 4 students when they are more advanced in language.
Thank you for sharing, Crystal. I think it's great. And when you said when they place themselves, I was thinking about placing them on the bridge next to the tree. You can also practice some grammar there. Wow, this is great. Yeah, thank you. I think we have comment.
A question, yeah.
Which activity is the best if the teacher has more than 30 students in the classroom? Well, I think I have a good idea. So this would work if you have two boards, two wide big boards. You can split students and they come to the board not at the same time. So that would work well. Questions on the wall works very well because some of them can start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Some of them can start 5, 6, 7 and then come back. So if there are a lot of people with the same question, then they just answer the other questions and it's easier to monitor students as well. Describing pictures would work. You probably would want to split the students not in 2 groups. If it's 30 students, maybe in 3 groups, 10 people in each group, and ask them to work. Sorry, this would work as well. Jigsaw, it depending on the level of students, I would say, because the part might be behavior. Here, if this activity is hard for the students, 30 students, it will be a lot of students to manage and to give the directions and redirecting them. Here, I would probably, with 30 students, I would not do these activities unless the students already have done this activity already and know what to do. Okay, this one will not do with 30 students because it takes a lot of time for the plastic. This one I will not do also with 30 students because yarn will mix together and it will be fine to find a partner. This activity, I would say 15 to 20 students would be ideal as a transition, yeah? Find a partner, exchange the card. For 30 people, it worked pretty well because they meet different people and you are able to monitor and to see who works, who needs extra time, who needs extra support. That would work the best. Find partners. You will need to create 15 cards and 15 pictures. So depending on time, preparation, and it actually would work as well, because then if you have opportunity to take the students to the hallway, you can do this two lanes activity where they can talk to each other to find, yeah. And this one would be probably, personally, I would not do it with 30 students. And the reason why, because I would like that everyone is engaged 100%. And there might be some students who will not be engaged for 100%. So several activities, I would say. Okay. So this one, Jigsaw, I think I did explain. Yeah, this one with renaming. So I was thinking that car brings a different meaning. I guess not. Say stop, pass it on, I choose. Actually, it can be a word that you have been practicing. So it can be a hidden word. So that's what probably I will call it now on. This one activity, I like to use it when we practice past tense, or for upper level when we practice some grammar constructions, or like I have an opportunity to do something. There is or there are. It works well. The sentences. Cards, I really like to do it when we do chores. If you learn chores, picture of the chores and sentence or phrase to match together. That would work also for a big group. This one I really like with upper levels because I always tell the students, not being a native speaker, sometimes I do not know the word, but I can explain it. Like when I go to repair my car, I do not know parts of the car, but I can explain what noise they make. So I think it's a great skill for students to have, and to understand that not knowing one word, you still can communicate. Yeah, and creating story is always a hit. If you ask the students to draw pictures and put the pictures together under sentences, make some comics, would that be great? Any questions or any feedback? I really appreciate always feedback. How can I become better, be better teacher? Or maybe ideas, if anyone would like to share.
Please feel free to unmute yourself if you have any questions, or if you have something to share as well, please unmute and feel free to share as well.
I see a question on the chat. Wonderful, like all the activities you introduce. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I hope that, my hope was that some activities are super simple, and I'm sure many teachers do these activities, but maybe when I describe something, it also brings another thought of a similar activities, or something that you could use even tomorrow, because as you can see, these activities do not require a lot of preparation, and that's why I value them a lot. And if you are flexible in your teaching, and I like to read my audience, I like to see if the students are tired, sleeping, if they need extra boost of energy, then I do them for sure, and I modify my lesson plan a little bit just on the go. I will come back to my content, but just on the go, and do. Okay, someone raised hand. I guess someone has a question.
Hi, I just want to share another activity which is quite suitable not only for small size class but also for the large size class. So I'm FAN, and so it's like I divide students into several groups, and I prepare like some stripes for each group, and I ask them to stick those stripes like on the wall, and there is going to be a runner for each group, or each student can be runner, and each time they run to the stripes, they tear it and then come back, so there is a question for them, so they can work together to work out the question, the answer, and they can come to me to check whether they've got the right one. And then another runner or the same runner go to like tear a stripe of the paper, and then work out the question and then come to me like in this way. So I think not only for the high schoolers but also the like 8th graders or 7th graders, they really enjoy this activity. So they run, they move a lot, they also work together, cooperate together. So I think it's a very good activity for the class. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I have a question. On the strips that they tear, are there answers or the questions or just some vocabulary?
So it can be either. So I did it as like when we taught when I taught like numbers in Chinese Mandarin. So I just put different like different things with numbers. So for example, student ID card, this is for one stripe, and the other stripe with like, I don't know, the telephone number, and the other one is like the car number. So they are all on a piece of paper, but like students can tear one each time. So I don't know whether I made sense.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so it's like they can tear one of it down and then go back to their group, and maybe the runner can read out the number in Chinese, and another student takes down the number and come to me and check whether he or she gets the right answer. So if he or she get the right one, he can be the runner and get another number and go back to his or her group to read out, and there will be another note taker to take down the number. So like they practice the numbers in Chinese very effectively in this way. And at the end, I just ask them which number they kind of like made mistakes more in, so they can have a like reflection of their learning. Yeah, that's what I did recently, and which I found very effective. They enjoyed it very much.
Oh, thank you for sharing. What I see also here that the students work together as a team. So they develop social skills of team
That's
member
right.
and
That's-
support. And then you're able to reach to talk to every student individually as well about checking. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. Thank you.
And I think like because different students maybe are at different levels, so maybe students they are not that good at like the knowledge they learn, but they are more energetic, so they can be the runner. And like it's like different students work as different roles in their groups. They do like get engaged in this activity, and also when they run, they get the the paper back. They also like try to work out the answer. So I think there will be less students like left behind, or
So
left out, I think.
perfect. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
I really like that. And again, it doesn't look like it requires a lot of time to prepare.
Yeah,
it can be fun, so much fun.
That's right.
Yeah, and numbers, actually in German, numbers are also hard, so can be a review activity, right?
Yes.
Always. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, so Lashi, thanks for sharing. I really like that you make questions instead of just a statement students have to repeat. I think questions is a good way. Yeah. And some teachers mentioned running dictation is kind of similar. So I post a link for a post from online, and actually it shows all the detailed steps of how to do dictation, running dictation. I do not like their its way of just putting sentence there. I like the way of putting questions. The students can together to figure out the answers.
Yeah, it's a different level of critical thinking skills, because this is the best way in world language classroom to develop critical language skills, right? Or critical thinking skills, where they can think together again, teamwork. Yeah.
Any other teachers like to share? Or any other questions?
Crystal, thanks for the website.
You're welcome. Okay, if nobody has questions and or want to share, I actually have 4 ready to go activities for community building. If you are interested, I'm going to post in the chat so everybody can see it.
Absolutely.
So just a minute, I need to find it. It's I think. Let me see whether I have their community building. So, okay. Just a minute. Okay, I just find one by one, so I'm going to put one by one in the chat. And if you are interested, just go and open it. This is a building contest. It's Lego pieces. Actually, I use Daniel's Lego pieces. And then students build whatever. I put them in groups and they have to use whatever pieces, random pieces, Lego pieces to build something together. So if they build something, they have to describe it. So they have to talk.
They have to talk, yeah. They can talk about numbers, how many pieces they use. They can talk about colors. And I remember when we did during summer, it's just a great teamwork activity.
Yeah, it's a teamwork activity because at the beginning of the semester, a lot of students actually come from COVID-19 social distance. It's hard for them to just all of a sudden to talk in groups. So this helps a little bit if they start to work. This one is big time no. And you can make changes. So change the questions. And this one is drawing, the next one is drawing fun. I really like to get ideas from teachers. You know, we exchange ideas.
Thank you so much for sharing. This is great.
You're welcome. Thanks for doing this for us. I really appreciate, you know.
Wow. I'm already getting activities for my National German Week. Oh, and thank you for putting them in such a awesome presentations. That is my weak spot. I do not. My presentations are very simple.
Oh, thank you so much. This is awesome. I learned 10 activities and how to adapt them, how to differentiate them. It's awesome.
Yeah, I hope you are able to take at least 1 or 2 activities that you can even use tomorrow.
Yeah, I think some of them are. I like your zero prep activities.
Zero
Really,
prep.
we as teachers, we don't have enough time, you know, to prepare, to do a lot of things, to print, you know, it's just a lot. Yeah.
That's why I find collaboration is so important. And it's so great when we just share, like what you shared with us, we can use it already tomorrow. And slides are already done. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. You know, the 4 activities I shared are with instructions, so you can use it.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing this. You know, as you started sharing, and then I just think this is so helpful, and then I joined you, actually. I really appreciate.
Thank you.
Thanks for doing this, and Any other questions? Or if we do not have questions, I think we can end 2 minutes earlier and enjoy our weekend. Thank you. All the
Thank you so
teachers,
much.
thank you for participating. And Ilya, thank you so much for
Yeah,
sharing.
yeah. Before we go, maybe we take a group picture. If some of the teachers still have 1 minute, just maybe open your video, your camera, so we will take quick picture. Okay. If you don't mind, open your camera. Okay, thank you. Okay. Thank you. I have more now. Okay, I think we are good. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a nice weekend. Thank you.
Thank you. Crystal, I will share my presentation with you if you need.
Yeah, sure. That would be great. Thank you.
Okay, should I change this kaboom now?
I think it's fine.
Okay, yeah.
It's great.
Okay.
Yeah. Kaboom.
Thank
And
you.
also, maybe you can use a different picture for the jigsaw because teachers
Yeah.
might understand.
Yeah, I will update it. And then I also have a little worksheet.
Oh,
Names of the activities I can share so people can print it. And if they have extra time, they can look, oh, I can do this now.
yay. That'd be great. Thank you so
Okay,
much. I really
thank you so
appreciate that.
much. Thank you. Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye. 谢谢刘老师。
不客气，我到时候把那个照片发给你，email 给你吧。
嗯，好好，谢谢。
嗯。